Hi everyone, I'm Amapiano and this is another episode of Ama Discussions. Today I wanted to talk about the global pressures that are put on Amapiano artists versus Afrobeats artists when they make it on other people's stages. Once they hit the global stage, what are the things that they're expected to do to change the genre so that it is made palatable? And I will say that I don't think Amapiano artists face that many pressures. So one of the biggest questions people ask me is, oh, why don't Amapiano artists start to sing in English now that they've made it on the global stage? When someone first asked me that question, I was like, because why would they sing in English? It's not their language. But I do think that Afrobeats artists face a lot of pressures, not from the Western world itself, but from Africans that grew up in the Western world. And just let me land on why I said Amapiano artists don't face that much pressure and why Afrobeats artists, I feel, they face a lot of pressure. Right? So, firstly, did you see what happened with Rema at the O2 Arena? So, Rema was expressing his culture, spirituality, or the motifs of spirituality that come up within his culture. He's Edo, right? And people were saying, oh, the O2 stage, King O2 is in London. The O2 stage is not the place to do this. It's not the space for what's this Edo spirituality. And then I feel like for me, like the image of Edo spirituality or Edo culture being expressed on a stage in London, knowing what the British had done to the Obas. If you don't know what an Oba is, if you don't know what Edo culture is, let me school you a bit, because I actually had to learn this, because I realized that every time I go to museums, what do I see? The statues of Benin. If you don't know Benin, it is one of the greatest kingdoms on the African continent. Pardon me, let me Google it. I don't want to get my facts wrong. Kingdom of Benin. So the Benin Empire is a traditional kingdom in southern Nigeria. It has no relation to the country Benin, anyway, which was known as Dahomey. Anyway, the kingdom of Benin's capital was Edo, now known as Benin City. This kingdom was one of the oldest and most developed states in the coastal hinterland of West Africa. What you must know is that at the time, it was one of the most developed states in the world. It grew out of the previous Edo kingdom of, Nigerian names. They always take me a while. Let me take a while on this. Igodo, Migodo. Igodo, Migodo. You see, I'm probably reading it in the South African way. I'm not going to try to have an accent about it. Around the 11th century, it was annexed by the British Kingdom in 1897, but has endured as a non-sovereign monarchy. So the Oba is the monarch. It's the king. He's the king.
Much later.
Anyway. Why would they sing in English? It's not their language. Half of these people don't even know how to speak English. Some of them, they probably don't even know how to write in English. Maybe they went to schools where they were taught in Sesotho, in Xhosa, in isiZulu, in the other 11 official languages in the country, right? So they were not restricted to English, and probably English is their second, third, fourth language. And so to expect them to artistically express themselves in a language that is foreign to them would be so unfair, and it would be sort of limiting the art that South Africans can make. You get, we're not like, other African countries that have an English Creole or a dialect that has English at its foundation. In Black South African sanctuaries, in spaces of artistic expression, English is not the prominent language. And even when you enter those spaces with English, people make you feel like you're invading, which I get. Hey. How y'all doing? Because when you're looking at the role of music within South Africa since time immemorial, it's always been to preserve culture, to communicate, to let people understand what you're saying. And if English is the fifth most spoken language fifth most spoken first language in the country, and you're a South African artist and you want to communicate a South African culture, you cannot do so in English. You have to do so in the language of the culture. And that's why in a lot of these piano songs, they're not even singing in one language. They're singing 1, 2, 3, 4. Like when people are like, "Oh, so what language is it? You speak Amapiano?" No, which one? Or like people will ask me, "Okay, can you please translate Sohlala Sisonke?" And I'll translate Sohlala Sisonke. Then they'll be like, "Oh, can you translate Dlala Kayon?" Then I'll translate Dlala Kayon. And they'll be like, "Oh, so Dlala Kayona and Sohlala Sisonke are the same language?" No. They'll be like, "How do you understand it?" Because part of engaging with South African culture and being a South African is being a polyglot. I'm not saying that every Amapiano artist must now be a polyglot, but one thing you have to understand is English is not the language of instruction for a lot of Black South Africans. I know for a fact that my mom, who taught me English, she wouldn't, if someone were to ask her to be a piano artist, she would not pick English as the, go-to artistic expression language. I know people that won't even go to churches where they sing in English because it's not that they don't even understand it. They do understand it, but they don't connect with it, right? And I think for Amapiano, because the base is in South Africa, it's in Joburg, it's in Pretoria. If you're doing something that's not pleasing the people in South Africa, you're done. You're done. I'm seeing them cancel someone I never thought they would cancel at this moment. He's at the peak. The fact that he's at the peak so early also. But they're canceling him because they said he was being disrespectful. Even if he has a global audience, that global audience is not going to do anything for him if he's not connecting with his own South African audience. And I think for Amapiano artists, they cannot afford to forget their South African audience. But however, for Afrobeats artists, I think it's different. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. But I think for Afrobeats artists, they don't have that home pressure as much as South African artists. I don't know. Because in South Africa, you need a home base to bounce off and da-da-da-da. I've seen a lot of Afrobeats artists disrespect their audiences in a way that I don't think South African artists would be audacious enough to do. Like Nigerian artists will disrespect audiences in Nigeria, right? And often. And they would do it often. I remember once someone saying that his audience is like they are evil or something. I was like, in South Africa, you get 2 strikes max, and then you're gone. Where do you think half of these Amapiano artists that you like? Where did he go? Where did he go? Where did she go? I know girls, influencers in South Africa that were cancelled over marrying an ugly man. In South Africa, even if you make it if your home base in South Africa is not like you will not be able to succeed overseas. If you disrespect your home base, you will not be able to succeed overseas. So for Amapiano artists, the priority is always to connect with the culture, connect with the people that created this genre, with the Joburgers, with the Pretorians, and then from there you can see if you're appeasing the global audience.